everybody, it's Amanda Nolan with Nation of Readers. We are on our fourth snow day in a row. Oh, there's Wish. Everybody say hi, Wish. She's probably going to come hang out with us during this video because we're coming at you from the Nolan living room floor. I decided to use the beautiful reflective snow as our natural light today. So, yeah, we have like 2 feet of snow. It's ridiculous, hence the 4 snow days. Anyway, what does a teacher do when they have 4 snow days in a row? I read all 4 of these books, and before I even decided on my topic for this week's episode, look at what I did to help show my students, because I have 2 book clubs reading these books. I decided to show them what would it look like if I were really thinking about what I'm reading, and how will this help me respond in my book club to my team members. So I just took sticky notes and I actually tore them because, students want to use sticky notes and they will use 1.5 million sticky notes. So I tore them up so I didn't have to use so many, just to mark spots. And so that's kind of what we're talking about today. Today is how to help readers respond to reading and why is that important. So if students just read, there's not as much of a purpose. It could just be for enjoyment. But when we give them more of a purpose and a direction, it's going to help them to focus and just motivate them a little bit more on why they might want to spend this time reading. So it gives them a purpose, and they also get to share and feel valued and important when they're sharing. Hi, Wish. Don't trip over the books. So it just helps them feel successful, basically. How? I have 2 hows here of how teachers can help their kids or their students respond to reading, and then I have how parents can help their kids respond to reading.
Wish. Drop the toy.
I can hear her picking up Ellie's toy. Anyway, and the biggest message, I guess, of both of those is just give your kids a choice, and teachers especially. So we're going to start with how to help students respond to reading for teachers, and then parents, if you want to skip forward to that time, let's hopefully.
This is my cue for my husband. Put in the time that I'm going to start talking about teacher or students, parents.
Okay, so teachers. Buy sticky notes in stock. That's one of my my suggestions for you. But giving those students a choice as to how to respond. Obviously, when you begin your reading block, if you don't already, I start with a 15-minute mini lesson. So in this mini lesson, I have a target for my students. So recently I can respond to another person in my book club. It was as simple as that. Like, I just wanted the kids to start to have a discussion, not a I share, you share, then she shares what was cool, interesting, or funny. That wasn't the point. It was like, can we discuss and dig deep into our book? So that was my target. So I started with a mini lesson and a target, and then I model it with one of my own books. So typically it would be a read aloud. This wasn't one of my read alouds, but I read this recently, and so I would obviously pre-read something that we recently read, and I would mark some spots in here and kind of show them what goes on in my brain as I'm preparing to talk to my group. And in this particular lesson, I actually made up some cue cards, and I pulled up a few students to model being in a book club with me, and they had their note cards as to how they were going to respond, and we did some examples and some non-examples. And typically in a lesson, once I model, I have the students try it with their group, and then we all read and prepare for the final end product. So and this is the ideas for different kind of products that your students can produce to show that they were reading and give them that purpose. So you kind of have to show them where you're going, what you expect from them. I call it success criteria. So I do my mini lesson, a guided lesson, and then I tell them, like, this is what you're expected to do. And obviously I have shown them with some kind of teacher modeling. And here are some of the things I expect from my students. Sometimes we do, you just have to mark the spot in your book. If you can find the spot to tell me you were successful, great, that's enough. Sometimes it is a prompt, a writing prompt, and I have it on the board, and they maybe have to fill it in with the character's name and a character trait. There's just different things that fit different lessons, and you got to figure out what works for you and for that lesson. But so we have sticky notes, writing prompts, drawing in like a cartoon style, or in a modeling style. I know in science we're doing a lot of modeling, and so this is actually helping us bring drawing into other subjects, and we can learn a lot from a drawing, and the kids are getting that in science, and it's starting to carry through into other subjects. So they can draw a cartoon style or a modeling style drawing, and you might just give them an open-ended prompt too, is something that, like, what was the struggle your character was facing, and then they can open-endedly just respond to that. So those are the options, because we're going to have artists who thrive with drawing, we're going to have writers who thrive with writing, and we're going to have kids that want to do neither one of those things. And so we just have to mix up and give students choices in how to respond to reading. But it's important that we're responding to what we're reading, because if we're not, then how do we know our kids are actually thinking about the book and getting things out of it? So parents, here's your side to this. So obviously this is going to vary depending on the age of your student. My daughter Eloise is almost 11 months. I just read to her. We point at different colors. We point at different animals, talked about their sounds. But as she starts to get older, I'm excited to start to, let's find all the letter P's. Let's find a word that rhymes with cat, and it's going to progress. So finding letters and their sounds, then you're going to be doing rhymes and talking about onset and rhymes, and this phonemic awareness is going to get stronger and stronger as your student becomes a better reader. But I really think the important thing is just taking the time to read for 20 minutes with your child or children. If you have more than one kid, it's fine to just do that as a group and take turns reading. It doesn't have to consume your whole evening, because I trust me, I know it's hard to be a parent, and especially a working parent. It's hard to find the time to do all the things. But I think it's just going to be beneficial. It's going to create a lot of bonding for your family. And when you're done with the 20 minutes of reading, just take 5 minutes to discuss it. Or if you have crazy snow days like these, you could create a project around it. And as teachers, we've been doing that at the end of every unit. Students at that point have read multiple books in that unit, but we created posters, dioramas, we can do videos. I mean, the ideas are endless, but just letting students respond in some way with a drawing, with a discussion, talking about a vocabulary word that was new, anything like that is just going to enrich your child's life and just make them a better problem solver, a better communicator, and strengthen your relationship in general. So today's video is not real complicated, but it's just a reminder to take the time to allow students to talk, respond, and have discussion about reading. Because if we just read, there's a chance that our students will get really good at either faking it or reading speedy quick and not thinking about what they're reading whatsoever. So these authors are professionals, and they take the time to include rich content that deserves a discussion, and your kids deserve to be heard for what they have to say about the books they read. So I hope everyone stays warm in this really blistering cold weather, and I hope you have a great week. I'll see you again soon on Nation of Readers. Bye now. So please subscribe. Hit the arrow down and you'll see a subscribe button.